All right, this is kind of an overview slash review of this Ridgid 6.5 horse, 12 gallon, the MOB1200. Basically stands for motor on bottom 1200. It's not necessarily your typical shop vac. What I have here is the typical shop vac. I've had this for like 12 years. I've been so mean to it, but it has not stopped, and it has been working great ever since. It still works great, but I got kind of upset with, well, I guess some of the reasons for why I wanted to get the newer. One, it's 6.5 horse. This seems to be the most powerful motor you can get on a Ridgid shop vac, or pretty much any shop vac, I think. And it has a 2.5 inch hose, and not just a 2.5 inch hose, but 2.5 inch couplers as well. This old one, I'm having problems sucking up larger objects because, you know, I got this upgraded hose for it, and while it does have the 2.5 inch connector, it necks down to 1 7/8 inches. While this hose is awesome, this is like an extra long hose. I keep getting, it'll suck up something and it gets stuck right here. So that's been kind of annoying. I'm gonna turn this into my detailing shop vac for detailing cars, which I do quite often, because this thing still works great other than that. Another kind of downside to this traditional style shop vac is there's a lot of weight up top, because that's where the motor is. So when you're pulling on it, it catches on something, it wants to fall over pretty easily. So this newer one, I'm gonna put this out of the way for me. The newer shop vac doesn't have that problem. It's got the motor on the bottom, so it won't flip over as easily. So let's get into some of the features that I like about this thing. One, or I guess the specs. Let's get into the specs first. 6.5 horse. This one's 12 gallons. It also, the motor on bottom comes in a 16 gallon one. I bought this because I wanted it to be a little bit smaller. The connectors and the hose is all 2.5 inch, so 2.5 inch there, and then the whole hose is 2.5 inch. Quick locks, all the stuff you'd expect from these hoses. Another cool thing about these hoses is on both ends, you see kind of the pattern changes. So this part is flexible, but this is a lot more flexible. Problem I had on my older shop vac is, right, especially on this top, this got kinked and just kind of broke within the first couple of years, which is why I upgraded to this other hose. Downside to this hose, at least I thought it was, this is like, it's just under 7 feet long, which seems long, but I'm used to this other hose, which is 14 feet. So Ridgid sells this kit. You can get another one, and you can make it, you can make it 14 feet. And the kit comes with 3 adapters, but I don't need any of the adapters, so I just use this hose here. And by default, it kind of just fits over the hose itself. And once it's on there, it kind of clips on, and it won't come off. And that gives you a really nice long hose, which is quite nice. I will put that kit number in the description. And that kit also comes with, like I said, the 3 different adapters, which I'm not using, but if you want to, you can. So get rid of those guys. I'm gonna get the hose off here, so it'll be that for the rest of this. Other things that's really nice about this model, one is you can put everything you need on it. It just kind of fits. Its cord is 20 feet long, which is really nice. Really nice, actually. And it has a built-in, I'm going to test this later to see how much power it uses, but it has this built-in circuit breaker, which is quite nice. And I guess a downside of this one is, here's the plug for the other unit. It has this little clip on there, which I found really useful when I'm wrapping up the cord. You can clip it onto the cord itself, and it kind of holds it. This one does, the MOB does not have that, but I found other ways of just kind of clipping it into here that works. But I thought it'd be kind of nice to have that. It doesn't seem like much of a thing to add, but I found it a little annoying. It comes with a lot of different accessories. So it comes with your, I use this one for interiors. This one's really great for other things. And the wet floor water pickup one, as well as your standard one as well, and the two larger extensions. And it also has places up here you can put them on. So they can sit up there if you want them. I tend to just leave it on there and throw these guys in the bag. And there is plenty of room for taking your cord and kind of wrapping it here out of the place. So that is kind of nice to keep everything at once. And then the hose just wraps on there pretty easily. Another neat thing that I found out about this is it's not just a kind of shop vac, but you take off the exhaust. This is a little diffuser. Once it's on, you can kind of spin it around to diffuse the air different directions. Or you could just take it off completely, put the hose on there, and this thing becomes a mini blower. So it's not, you know, like a shop vac or like a backpack blower, but it is pretty strong. Just for giggles, since we're doing this. 2.6 amps, 1330 watts. Not that that's really important, but you know, I've got the thing there, might as well test it out. Get that hose off there, and somewhere the diffuser went flying away. Well, we don't really need that right now. So that's kind of nice. Another really cool thing about it, like my older one, the toggle switch to turn it on and off is at the top. As you can see, I've been using it. It's just got this little foot pedal, so you can tap on it with your foot and it's all good to go. It's got a nice quick drain for if you're having, you know, if you're taking and pumping a lot or taking a lot of water in. This is really nice. Emptying it's pretty neat. It's got two little pops that comes off here and the lid pops off. One of the things that I was a little disappointed in, another reason I'm making this video, the 16-gallon version of this little indent here on the 16-gallon version is like a little door. So when you're using it and you got something really big you need to throw in, you know, like you pick up like a offcut of a 2x4, you just pop the lid up and slide it in and close the lid. But you can't do that in the 12-gallon one. So I was a little disappointed to learn that. Another thing that I found a little bit annoying is emptying this. Now this is still a lot better than the motor on top versions. But when you say you want to empty this, you flip that little switch, and this thing whole top comes off. This is a big kind of chasm there where the pump is. I'll show that in a second. The downside to draining or emptying this thing is it's not really a lot of space in here because the filter's there. So I do find that emptying it sometimes can be a pain with bigger items, but you can pop this off and it drains a lot easier. This thing comes with their blue filter. There's 3 different filters that this thing can come with, and talks about them here. I guess there's 4. The VF 4000, 5000, 6000, and then 7000. The 7000 is like it's a full black filter. That is for doing wet stuff. So wet stuff. So if you're doing a lot of water. And then the other filters, there's 3 varying levels of filtering. The blue is right in the middle, so they got the white filter that, you know, barely picks up anything. It's kind of like your standard filter, or it barely filters anything. And then you got this blue one, it's kind of right in the middle, and it filters quite a bit. And then they got a full-on HEPA filter as well. But so that's kind of nice. It makes it really easy. You can just dump it out, put it back on the unit. You know, flip the switch, and you're off to the races. You go back on. When that was off, put this back on. When this thing is off, because that was the plan, was to take this thing off. You can see that the motor is on the bottom, like the word says, MOB, motor on bottom. So this little tray, this is where a lot of your weight is. That's why when you're pulling it around by the hose, it doesn't just fall over. It actually will be caught. That is quite nice. Probably help if I had it on the right way. cut them. So this has been super awesome. It does quite well at sucking up just about anything you need. Everything fits on it, which is really nice. Even this hose that when you have, if you do buy the extra hose, it's 14 feet long. It still sits on there pretty well, and you can still pick it up by the handle and carry it around, and it doesn't really fall off. All your adapters and everything will fit on there, and assuming you don't lose the diffuser. If the diffuser's not there, there's really not much to hook the hose, the power cord on. I mean, you can't just let it sit there, but I like to wrap it around it. So when the diffuser's in there, it makes it really easy to wrap up the hose. So that is my review of the MOB1200. This thing is really great. I got it on Home Depot, but you can get it pretty much anywhere. And yeah, I look forward to putting this thing through its paces. It's worked pretty well so far. I used it for a week straight, lots of hours, sucking up what was left of insulation and other debris in an attic from the 1940s. So it did really well at picking up, little pieces of wood, because the house had been re-roofed and they just dropped all the crap inside the attic. So after rolling up the old insulation and sucking up this like chunks of wood like that long, did no problem, sucked it right up through the hose. Having the 2.5-inch wide hose was amazing for that. I started out the project using my old school one here, and it just kept getting clogged in the hose. It was fairly powerful enough to suck up the stuff, but it just didn't work. Kind of a comparison, there was a lot of nails. Trying to suck up the nails with this just didn't work. This one would actually, for the most part, suck up like an individual nail off the ground. So it tells you a little bit more how powerful it is. But yeah, that's the Ridgid MOB1200. Go out and get one. They work great. And I will, I guess, update if it doesn't work. Check the description down below to see the kit number for the extended hose if that's something you want. See you in the next one. All right, well, just got done shooting the video for this thing and came out here to one of my basement seals, and it's plugged up and filled with like 1 inch and something of water. So I figured we'll see how this thing does. It did a pretty good job of sucking that out super quick. It's like a 2-minute video clip, took 30 seconds. Anyway, yeah, works great.